You can swap out your rate, next year for a 4% rate, and then you're going to save $1,000 a month and everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just can't be that guy that says that. So I told him, hey, your concern is completely valid. And I told him, just so you know, you're not the only person wrestling with these questions. And so I told him, I said, hey, here's the deal. If you are purchasing this investment, if you're buying a home for a short term, if your perspective is short term, like thinking like everyone during COVID, like I'm going to buy a house as a starter home, then 2 years from now I'm going to make $100,000 in equity, and then I'm going to sell that home, buy a nicer home. And I'm like, if that's what you think you're doing, I would strongly caution you to not buy a house right now, if that's your mindset, because I'm like, that is detached from reality. Like that market was honestly government induced insanity. I mean,
artificially.
It was artificially created. It's not real. So I'm like, if that's why you're buying a house, I would strongly caution you not to. But this is where I have a bigger zoom out. Because if you zoom out, housing does always go up. And that's where it's like people today, they're not straight up lying. Half truth is a whole lie. And so it's a partial truth. It's a limited perspective. So telling someone housing always goes up to try to get them off the fence to buy a home.
What do you mean by taking a bird's eye view? I think I have an idea, but for our listeners, what do you mean by taking the bird's eye view and real estate does go
totally.
Yeah.
So I told him, zoom out. So don't look at the next 2 to 3 years. Don't look at the next 3 to 5 years. Zoom out 20 years. And I'm like, housing does go up. And here's what I mean. And I told him, I said, my parents, like our parents and grandparents' generation, they did not buy homes to flip next year or to, like, I'm going to buy this house to start a home and 2 years from now I'm going to move up. No, our parents bought homes for the long haul. It was a long-term investment. Totally. They were buying a home to raise a family in, to put down roots, all these different things. But what's happened now, we've created this expectation where the last 4 to 5 years, people have been buying and selling homes, trading them like stocks. It literally is like, I'm going to swap this one from that one. I'm going to cash in $50K, put that and roll that down on this one, buy another one. I'm like, this is insane and it's not sustainable. So I told him, I said, listen, if you zoom out, housing does go up. So if you zoom out, my parents are one of the few people on earth that bought a home in 2005 and didn't just let it go because it lost 50% value. They're strong Christian people, have strong moral values. So my dad told me I made a commitment to that loan. I still have my job. I still make the same amount of money. I can pay it, so I'm going to pay it.
He bought it in 2005?
Yep. And within the last 4 years was the first time that he actually had positive equity
from where he bought it.
Since when he bought it. And so again, look at that. Bought in 2005. Here we are, less than 20 years later. And even in one of the great financial crisis, it's still rebounded, and he's above where he was when he bought. But that's a 20-year lens, not a 3-year lens, not a 5-year lens.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you 100%. What I show people, that crash in 2008 was the only crash we've actually seen.